This week, we're going to be talking about awesome nostalgia of great pizza back in the day and how it influenced, impacted, and entranced so many back then during that era for many years, all the way up to present day. So, without further ado, let's get into What's the Deal About Pizza, 70s and 80s edition. From your retrospective vantage point, what makes a good pizza? There will most likely be a similar checklist of answers stating such criteria. Perhaps it's the multitude of delicious and creative topping choices you can select to go on top. Or how about a crisp, flavorful crust slowly baking underneath to perfection?
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Just the thought of that. That's a good idea right there. Let's see. Let's start thinking about lunchtime, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Let's move the clock hands around to, let's say, noon and like they did in cartoons. Oh my goodness. You got to have all the proper ingredients to make the ideal pizza.
Mhm.
Speaking of crust, do you prefer Chicago style, Detroit pan crust, or New York style crust?
Oh, I totally love any kind of pizza, period. I've actually had all three kinds, so I would have to say, although I've had and enjoyed all the listed styles you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
I actually prefer the New York style pie the best.
Okay.
So, how about you, Coop?
Well, like yourself, tried them all. And I'm sure there's probably a few out there that we didn't nail down, but those are probably the ones that most people would think of for pizza crust.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I think about the rich buttery crust,
Oh, yes.
but New York style, I think would be my go-to as well.
Okay.
And I think just something about having it actually from New York just adds to the awesomeness. And you think about you get those huge slices of pie and you just roll them up and go. There's that convenience element.
Oh,
Just so good.
it is. And we are in the thick of the season, like when we used to go to New York and get that kind of pizza.
Right?
It's like the air was perfect, it wasn't too hot or anything. You could walk the city.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Oh, nice. Now we're just like we're poking ourselves in the eye. We gotta stop doing that.
It's
Stop
gotta stop.
totally. But like no matter how you like or prefer your pizza, as long as it's mouth-wateringly good and it suits your taste and satisfies your craving,
Mm-hmm.
oh, no doubt a great pizza any way it comes. Ding ding ding, you got you a winner.
Yeah, and on top of that choice crust, you have the cheese generously spread on top, like from edge to edge. It's just bubbling and steaming and perfectly melted. That buddy should arrive to you piping hot.
Oh yes, uh-huh.
And I'm also very particular about the toppings that go on. They should be fresh, top
Mm-hmm.
notch, and of superb quality. But the only exception to that is, I think, in our humble opinion, would be the pickled mushrooms, right?
Definitely.
They beat fresh mushrooms out every time.
They just taste better.
They do. And delicious toppings are a core request in order to enjoy a savory, mouth-watering pizza. No doubt, it's these types of pizza places that hold themselves at a standard priority to aim and focus on serving us, the pizza loving public, great pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And we can be a crazy bunch. Like, period, end of statement, moving on.
And I know it sounds a bit far fetched to find this level of quality in pizza nowadays,
Uh-huh.
or let's be honest, or even food period while out and about.
Yeah.
But thankfully, it is still possible. Now, not in a general, wide sense, but if you really search for these places, you can still stumble onto these.
So true. But check this out. Here's the crazy part. What we're talking about in finding good pizza anywhere, it's more of a challenge now to find these in a general sense. But one still can if they really dig in searching outside of popular chain restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 70s and 80s, a lot of these same pizza chain restaurants did just that. They produced and served phenomenal tasting pizza. Nice and hot, practically any way you liked
Oh, facts.
it. Food quality was much better back in those days in general. And that probably, you know, that's probably where the growth and demand for delicious pizza really started.
Uh-huh.
I think probably where it really exploded for many people.
It did for us.
Right? Yeah. Personally, it took me a while though to start liking pizza because I was a finicky child.
She really was, folks. Oh my gosh, our poor parents. They literally had quite the challenge presenting many a meal to trial and error just to see what Coop would be open to eat. But it is good to hear that she finally came around to the dark side.
Hey, yeah, it's fun over here.
Isn't it though?
Yes.
I know my love of pizza definitely happened back in our younger days. So it was like a mental celebration in my head when we learned we were going to order a pizza from somewhere on a Friday or Saturday night. And watching our favorite shows. Oh, I so miss those days.
Yeah. But you know what? I totally remember that you had mentioned before that you used to think that when people were performing on TV, that they were singing their hearts out because they were going to get pizza after the show.
I did. They were obnoxious about it too. I was like, look at them out showing off. Pepperoni and mushroom there. That's what they're getting.
Now that we're older, we realize they were probably excited about other things more adult like, but
yes, cough, cough.
There's no secret to learning that folks from all walks of life and across different generations adored ordering and eating pizza.
Cue up those fellow Gen Xers.
Right? And can't get enough of it, apparently. Pizza holds a special place in the hearts of so many individuals the world over, which is huge. Because it really is something that hardly any other food going can universally compete with.
In many ways, pizza is the perfect go-to meal, possessing the delicious combination of a crispy crust drenched in savory olive oil, pesto, or tomato sauce.
Mm.
Yeah, is right. Add some fresh veggies, pepperoni, choice meats, then top it off under a mountain of ooey gooey cheese.
Mm.
Order it up the same or change it up any way you like.
Yep.
There's an endless array of variations and creative palate satisfying offerings to tickle your fancy.
Yes. And two, you can eat pizza as any meal of the day.
You can.
So, although it's said that there's no perfect time to eat pizza, I tend to disagree.
Okay, do tell.
If I'm personally going to eat some, I'm much more of a fan of eating pizza at dinner time.
Mm-hmm.
I can even do so for lunch occasionally. Like today would be fine.
That is afternoon. Oh, I totally hear you on that, Coop. I'm actually a self-proclaimed night out, and dinner time is my go-to for delicious pizza as well.
Mm-hmm.
Me, 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 me.
Ba, 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 ba.
Oh, Lord, we're crazy.
Yeah.
Now, I know what I'm about to say is not very popular on this notion, and we're probably in the minority of feeling this way, But I don't see how folks adore grabbing some leftover cold pizza and eating that for breakfast. Yuck.
Ew.
I mean, I do realize that that's not a very popular thing to even say, but that's my honest opinion. And
Mhm.
it's hard to see how that's even remotely enjoyable for some. I'm an odd apple, I guess.
Ew, me either. I guess that makes two of us, Kennard.
Oh my goodness.
My reasoning is it took me forever just to even like pizza, period.
Hmm.
Served
Hmm.
hot, so let alone cold.
I know.
That would take me another few decades to get there, I think. So if you out there like cold pizza, cool. Our hubbies do too. So we mean no disrespect, and hats off to you if you can masterfully choke that down. Some people are like totally beer and pizza too. We're not those people either.
Nope, not at all.
So all of these people, you are tried and true troopers. It really is quite the universal go-to snack for so many people, though. Okay, you orchard archivers, please weigh in on this angle of this topic today. Are you a hot pizza lover only? Cold pizza preferred over hot? Hot and cold, or whichever way it comes? After all, we are talking about pizza here. So share your preferences. We'd love to hear from you. All of our topics are shared with fun in mind, so the orchard is a judgment-free zone.
Oh my goodness, that will be very interesting indeed.
Uh-huh.
Also some high points about the likability and versatility on what a positive pizza is.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a food that can be eaten for any occasion. So you think about pool or card party.
Breakfast. Ugh.
uh, yeah, breakfast. Ugh. Or it's ideal for larger size events like picnics, weddings, and corporate parties, perhaps.
Sure.
A delicious pizza can be enjoyed practically any time for any reason.
So another reason pizza is popular is because it's affordable.
Hmm.
In most instances, as we'll see here momentarily, in a few of our throwback entry examples, we'll be highlighting today.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So believe it or not, pizza can be considered somewhat a better and healthier food choice than, say, your average burger and fry staple somewhere.
So the possibilities are endless when it comes down to choice concerning pie consumption. Now, let's briefly tap into a bit of history on how pizza got started.
Okay.
This happened in Italy.
No way. Shocker there.
I know, I was like all serious, and you were like, okay, what are you going to say? Then you're like, oh. Okay.
She's throwing out knowledge on us today.
Hardly. Okay, so it's Naples, Italy to be exact.
Okay.
So it was a food created in mind to feed the working people, and it was done in a manner to be fast, convenient, and most importantly, budget friendly, which is always important.
Absolutely.
So, as it's known now, like who hasn't heard of or eaten a good pizza pie?
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't always the case until after World War II.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was at the end of the war when soldiers returning home to the States brought this ever tasty delicacy with them and thus changed and became a huge part of American culture.
That's interesting.
Isn't it though?
Yeah. And, since then, it's been full steam ahead and has literally taken over the world.
It certainly has.
Food world domination, if you will.
Appropriate.
Right. Fun fact: 1 in 8 Americans eat pizza every single day.
Oh, that's crazy.
Not hard to imagine because of the convenient versatility factor, and the ease of making and ordering and eating it.
I think we'll be a part of that 1 of 8 today.
Oh, yes. Count me in, please.
Yeah. Okay, no, maybe 2 of 8 now. So we're on board with this.
Yes.
Let's help those statistics. It is afternoon. Well, let's be honest though. If one is indeed a true pizza connoisseur and are really into pizza, like real pizza you can find in Italy
Mhm.
or culture rich spots here and there throughout the states,
Yeah.
then those people probably aren't going to write home about what's now turned out to become the watered down, ugly stepchild of the current US pizza chains. Or will they?
Oh, the ugly stepchild kick. Oh.
It's true.
Oh. Well, we do have brief but interesting choice retro entries we enjoyed immensely back during the 80s. Um, what we ate and remembered from that time was pretty good, even from a chain pizza option.
Yeah, those totally were good to eat on the regular back then. And we're about to jump into them and the fond memories we can recall surrounding these entries.
Mm-hmm.
But quick note, to be honest, the chain pizza joints nowadays really don't hold a candle to some of their quality standards of their earlier days or to some of the old school mom and pop places and hit spots of culture goodness anywhere in the States or abroad. So my more acquired taste for something that tastes grown up and delectably good has thankfully taken over. And trust me, a pizza is all about the crust, though.
Mm.
Chicago, Detroit, pan, and New York style.
Sign me up. Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show. Where's our time machine to fast forward to lunchtime already?
Totally.
Wow, getting hungry.
Certainly.
Fun fact, not too surprising, is that the most popular pizza topping in America is the classic choice. Wait for it, pepperoni.
Uh-huh.
You're like, I'd never guess that, right? Come on, Kennard, be honest. You know you were thinking anchovies, right?
Totally. Totally anchovies. That's what it was.
Only anchovies.
Yuck.
No, no.
That's cool though. With all this consumer love for pizza though, the competition is fiercer than ever. And because of that, not every pizzeria is going to be able to keep up with that level of demand.
Yeah. And speaking of some pizza memories,
Hmm.
remember Noble Romans, the self proclaimed pizza geeks?
I do.
Number one, it's always fine to refer to yourself as a geek. And number two, it's always fine to be a geek for pizza.
That's what our show's about today.
That's right. So I guess we're in there too. This chain is still around today, but you might have to search for a location.
Uh-huh. Right, right.
I believe they started back in 72. And get this, they started on the campus of Indiana University.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But fast forward a little to early 80s, and that's when we both had their pizza and their delicious breadsticks.
Okay. Now, Coop, it was the breadsticks. Oh, with the ever famous cheese sauce.
Mm-hmm.
It was warm to perfection. And that was the real winner right there.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. They were so good.
they were. Oh my goodness.
So their hot, soft, doughy breadsticks were so incredibly good that just the memory of eating those would always have you scrambling back.
Yeah. You want to go to Noble Roman's Pizza? Yes, please.
Yes, please. Now, you just mentioned Noble Romans from Indiana.
Mhm.
Another pizza chain we like that came from another little lesser known Italian city was that of Lima, Ohio. I know we're stupid today, aren't we?
You silly.
But that's east of Chicago pizza.
Okay.
So I believe that one opened in 1982.
Gotcha.
Their pizza reminded me a lot of what Pizza Hut offered in the way of their pan pizza variety. That being deep dish
Mm.
and having that lightly greasy crust.
Delish is right. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's so good.
And the subs. Remember the subs? That was the star with East of Chicago.
I do. Them buddies always came hot and toasted.
Yes. Yummy.
So east of Chicago, that one that was near us was definitely like a setup where it was an order and carry out type style.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in a local strip mall plaza here in our hometown.
Yeah.
So they have since closed, much like everything around here did. It's true, but in general, though, they still have establishments in a few states.
Nice.
And they're actually still going strong, and that's good to hear because I mean, if you've got some place that serves good food, please stick around.
Right. Let somebody enjoy you.
Yes. And I do think we have one of these that's probably about 25 minutes away from us, which I mean, we don't go to it, but it's
Right.
there.
So maybe one day we'll have to make a field trip, right?
Oh, food field trips are always key.
They really are.
I'm gonna hold you to that, Coop. She's like, oh, okay, put on the backups. So, like, again, it's gone from here. It's been a few years since we've actually eaten there ourselves, but all in all, East of Chicago was a decent choice to get a pan specialty pizza.
Yeah. And as a top choice for pizza back in the 80s, I would have to say Domino's pizza setup was also pretty much carry out only. So that helped with like college kids everywhere.
Yeah, it did.
They probably really thrived on the college community.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're budget friendly.
Right? Yeah, we'll take 100 pizzas, please. So a popular promotion back then was being able to get your order in 30 minutes or less, piping hot, or it was on them. Do you remember that?
I do that because that was their big push. That was their big business venture.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And Domino's was the bomb back in the day. That Domino's tasted good.
It was good.
So I wonder with the 30 minutes or less, do they still do that now?
Well, you know what? Of sorts. It's changed a bit.
Okay.
I believe they have autonomous driving delivery shuttles now. Only offered in certain areas, of course. Nowhere around us.
Aww.
That's what you get for living in the country, but probably just an oven, on wheels, I would guess.
I totally could see our cats attacking that. They'd be actually like trying to act like they're driving them.
They would.
Get off of there, kitties.
Yeah, nobody wants those pizza pies now.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they'll get fur in them.
Yeah.
But hey, do you remember their 80s mascot, the Noid?
Yes. Okay, so even on that autonomous driving, he's actually on that commercial as well. He has made a comeback.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he'll still do anything for pizza, much to his demise.
Oh, good grief.
Everything 80s comes back. You know this, Kennard.
Yeah, I was like, that's a dumb question. Yeah.
But back in the 80s, Domino's was another ideal choice to grab and eat, with a handful of VHS tapes, a 6-pack of Coca-Cola, and a 10-pack of Friends. Just add water and voila, instant slumber party.
Always a slumber party. One of my earliest memories of delicious pizza is Godfather's Pizza, which was a mob-inspired theme chain that started in the 70s in Omaha, Nebraska.
What? More unexplored Italian regions, I guess.
Yeah, it looks that way apparently. Not. Go Midwest. Now, we were quite young, but I do vaguely remember one of these Godfather's Pizza restaurants close by where we lived.
Okay.
Oh, that pizza was divine. Thick crust with the perfect crispiness of the outer layer, rich tangy tomato sauce, and fresh choice toppings.
Oh boy, I could listen to that all day, and then
It's
I'd like
music
to
to your
eat.
ears, isn't it?
Yes. Kennard, I have to admit, I do not even remember eating this one.
Really?
Yeah, I think that must have been back when I still didn't like pizza, so I sadly missed out.
Oh, makes sense. Makes sense. We were pretty young.
Yeah.
But you know what I remember most about Godfather's pizza was how incredibly delicious and thick the cheese was on top.
Ah.
Oh, it was baked and melted onto sheer perfection. Cheese so thick and gooey that it could choke a horse.
Wow.
No, literally, it was that thick.
Oh my goodness.
So, this is really a great memory and example right here that sparked my initial love for pizza. Yeah, like when you think of pizza, this throwback memory is the ticket. So miss Godfather's pizza from back in the day.
I missed it too, and I didn't even have it.
Yeah, she's like, I need that time machine.
I don't know why we are punishing ourselves. Why are we doing this to ourselves today?
I don't know, but it's a 10.
We have entered the danger zone.
Sure have.
But as we're talking about these pizza places, we cannot not mention Sabaro's Pizza.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You know what? It started as a small mom and pop shop, in none other than Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, buddy, cue up some delicious New York style crust to perfection right there.
Mm.
Oh, there's almost nothing better than a good old slice of piping hot New York style pie.
Oh, you said it. You nailed it right there. So, as we said before, this was our top crust pick.
Yes, it was.
And thank goodness there was a huge boom in the 80s and 90s. That's when we had it because they officially were around where we are. But believe it or not, that chain did hit some hard times for a minute.
Oh no.
Yeah, because remember, we did have one in our local mall during that time. And it was absolutely amazing because we could go and grab a piece of New York style pie anytime we wanted.
Oh yeah. I remember that fondly.
Yeah.
Not only is it gone, but our whole mall is gone.
Yeah.
And as I quote, but that's a separate story.
Wonder who that was quoting.
Yeah. Cicely, picture it.
Right? And thankfully, the chain has returned. And it's still a really good option if you indeed have a craving for New York pie.
Always.
So no worries. You don't have to book a flight to New York because unless you want to. Because you literally can still find them anywhere. They're never far off. Just look no further than in your local food court, your local shopping mall or hangout. And you can grab a slice after a hard day of shopping. It truly is the quintessential 80s experience. Absolutely amazing.
It certainly is. Oh. But I just want to let you know we've already booked our tickets to New York. We're just going to go for the real deal. Just so you know. Now, another budget friendly pizza was Little Caesars Pizza. Pizza. Now, can you remember how good this pizza was? I mean, it was a simpler, cheaper made pizza.
Yeah, I do remember how good it was. And it was several steps up from the old pizza squares they'd service at school.
Okay.
Which was our little brother's. He actually really likes those. So
Wow.
I don't know if he's just easy to please or does he just have bad taste? I don't know.
Well, no insult to our male listeners, but he is a male, so that we'll chalk it up to that. It's like the cold pizza prep.
Right.
So, back to Little Caesars Pizza, though, the flavor factor was surprisingly up there for a cheaper pizza.
Yeah.
The crust was simple and doughy, and the tomato sauce was slightly sweet, but it was a delicious but basic tomato sauce, and the cheese somehow still tasted good, even though it wasn't piping hot most times. Like that totally goes against what we normally like and drew us to pizza.
Right.
So, like a few other pizza chains back in the 80s, it was all the rage to not get just one pizza pie, but this particular chain, they would promote and offer for two pies for your buck, big bang for your buck.
Uh-huh.
And that became pretty standard back then in the 80s. I mean, like everybody caught on to that.
Sure.
So, this was good because it was a quick, ideal meal for the family and/or most perfect meal or snack as you hung out with your friends, catching up on old good VHS movies and Coke. Girl Squad alert!
We need that air horn anytime we talk about the Girl Squad.
That idea has some merit.
That or slumber parties, because we're always mentioning one of the two.
Yeah, our listeners are like, stop.
Yeah. You know what? Domino's and Little Caesars Pizza made for cheap feeding for an oh so familiar slumber party.
There it is.
Yep, there it is again. Pretty much every weekend. Pretty much every weekend.
Now, even though the chain is still around, it has changed quite a bit. Like it has the warmers to keep the pies hot so that you can grab and go.
Mm.
But with being much more efficient, and it's not nearly as good as we remember from back when we were kids, much like so much else these days concerning current food fodder.
Oh, yeah. And even though they lost some of their delish cred from the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
I believe Little Caesars is still the third largest pizza chain in the world, with establishments in over 25 countries.
I think I've heard that somewhere. That's pretty amazing, like you said.
Yeah, because it isn't as good as it used to be. So good for
Yeah.
them, I guess.
Yeah. Good for their pocketbooks.
Yeah.
So it sounds like their little Roman mascot has people the world over saying, pizza, pizza.
You're nailing those impressions today, by the way. So while we're still punishing ourselves, I meant to tell you the other day, I was in the supermarket and when we were in the frozen pizza aisle, you'll never believe what I saw among the Red Barons and DiGiorno pizzas.
Oh, what was it?
A serious blast from our past.
Well,
Frozen Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
are you kidding me?
No.
Oh my goodness. One of our favorite throwback pizza chains right there.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember it used to be called Showbiz Pizza when we went?
Yes, I do. But you know what? I guess it used to be Chuck E. Cheese, then turned Showbiz, then back to Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay.
So all we knew outside of all that adult shenanigans was that there was no shortage of either food or activities while hanging out there,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It was totally the indoor playground wonderland that had slides, climbing play equipment.
Arcade games, prizes, and the highlight, the ever awesome animatronic band stage characters.
Right? And last but not least, pizza.
We can't forget the pizza.
Cannot forget the pizza. And as we all know, the pizza, although decently good from what we can remember, it really served as a refuel for kids as we happily bounced around from game to game with our tickets.
That we did. Many a good time and lots of good memories were spent here with our Girl Squad. Ba, 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 ba.
Nice. And this was an absolute haven for blissful fun for kids because the rules were that you could be a kid. Hence their ever famous tagline in their commercials.
Showbiz
Showbiz
pizza,
pizza,
where a
where a kid
kid can
can
be
be
a
a kid.
kid.
So, Kennedy and Orchard Archivers, here's a couple of quick trivia questions for you.
Okay.
Let's see if you know this. Do you remember what the name of the animatronic band for Showbiz Pizza was called?
Yes, I do. It was Rockafire Explosion.
Nice. And can you remember how many name members that it had?
I think it was 6 or 7. Seven characters.
Uh-huh.
Now their names, I think it was Billy Bob Broccoli the bear.
Okay.
Then we got Looney Bird.
Uh-huh.
Duke LaRue. That's Geronimo.
Okay. Yep.
Then there's Beach Bear.
Uh-huh.
Mitzi Mozzarella. And Rolf the Wolf.
Nice.
And I think he had a ventriloquist dummy named Earl Schmerl.
You nailed it. Nice job, Kennedy.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
She is the trivia queen, so it's not really a surprise. I'll just let you know that. But to our archivers, hit us up and see how many of these memories served you well. Let's see if you can get them all or did you miss some? You know.
Yeah.
We'd be interested to hear what you could remember, And it's just so much fun, but sadly, Showbiz Pizza has been lost to the 80s and our archives.
Yes, that is a sad tip there.
Yeah.
But apparently you can find Chuck E. Cheese in a town or your grocer's freezer near you.
Yes.
So no worries. We're not even worried now.
No.
Okay, Coop, do you remember how Pizza Hut back in the 80s was the mid-upscale pizza dining room experience?
Actually, I do. I do remember that.
Yeah, with their high back booths, the stained glass Pizza Hut lighting fixtures above each booth.
Yeah.
Then they had the red and white checkered tablecloths and the red plastic bubble glasses for your soda.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They also had a salad bar that boasted all fresh vegetables, which, for being, that type of restaurant, they did not skimp on quality with their veggies.
Not at the time, no.
Right? And the true draw, though, was their hot pan style pizza.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. This was Motor City. This was Detroit pan crust pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Yummy. Hot melted cheese. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. They also had cloth napkins and actual silverware to use to cut into that fabulous pizza.
They did.
Mm-hmm. Pizza Hut pan pizza was the business.
Oh, facts.
Do you remember that the waitress would place the flat cork round protector on the table and place your pizza on top?
Mm-hmm.
And then she would actually serve the first slices to everyone who was in your company.
Now, how's that for memorable? Classy nostalgia and a mid-level dining experience.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it was truly different. Much better times then.
Mm-hmm.
Where a great customer service experience and professionalism was their aim. But that kept customers happy and wanting to come back.
Sure did.
They even had that old school jukebox for a quarter to play your favorite top 40s hit or rock and roll country tunes from back then as you desired. And then you could eat your pizza. The whole experience equated to great times.
It really did. And I'd say that their business model has definitely changed, though.
Yep.
I think now if you go inside, most Pizza Huts have been modernized.
Mm-hmm.
They're much lighter and brighter inside, and there's no jukebox to be found.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more like Domino's. The focus is on, carry out and delivery versus old school dine-in.
Yeah.
And Pizza Hut was a big choice for, those big after-school events, like the Friday night football games for the high school.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it just fostered that more fun, good times, you know?
Yeah.
And it had that intimate atmosphere that would dial up the warm nostalgia surrounding these cherished experiences.
Yeah.
So thank goodness for our memories and the retro orchard archives.
And real quick about the whole atmosphere thing, yeah, that has changed. Like it just seems very not cold, but it just seems very not you like you can't really connect there. It's like they want you to just get your stuff and go. Like you don't feel
Yeah.
like you can enjoy what you're there for. Like everything is very informal, very
Yeah, it's like immediacy. Like just okay, quick.
yeah,
We
yeah.
want it now, so you go now, you know.
Yeah, and like you said, it could look like dominoes. It could be anywhere. You could be anywhere.
It really can.
But Pizza Hut, that experience back in with all the stuff we just mentioned, that made the experience that much more wow.
It did. So, fun fact, the name Pizza Hut contains 8 letters only. Are you curious to why?
I am.
It's because their sign could only fit and support 8 letters at the time. That's a pretty good reason, I guess, as any.
Oh, yes. You're nuts, Coop. So, what makes a good pizza? There is a simple answer to that, which is all down to your taste buds.
Mm-hmm.
For some, it's about the crust. Some like or prefer something super specific spread on their crust, such as olive oil, delicious pesto, or a thick classic tomato sauce. Still, yet others, it's all about the toppings and how much cheese and what types of cheese you can melt on top. Maybe it's all above. No matter what kind, which way, or where you get your pizza, sometimes all you need is a single slice of pizza to make everything in your day right.
Let's make today right.
All right, I'll pick you up in 5.
So that's it for this week's episode. But next time, we'll be talking about more riveting nostalgia. So stay tuned. You won't want to miss this. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. We so appreciate your support. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss a beat and be ready to revisit more memorable, fun archives and better times. Same time, same place, and the Retro Orchard. You just experienced the Caramel Apples podcast, where the topic is rarely about apples. Bye.